Hi everyone, Michael P. Spradlin, back again today with another chapter of The Enemy Above, Chapter 4. Thanks you all of you who are following along and sharing the story as we read our way through this book. I also wanted to tell you that if you want to search on Twitter or on Facebook or Instagram under the hashtag authors take action, you'll find lots of authors out here offering up different activities and read-alongs and all sorts of things. And I wanted to be sure that I took part in helping us pass through this pandemic and that pass the time until things get back to normal. So let's get into the story, and everybody, I hope, stay healthy, stay home. And when we are making our choices for the day, please make sure to make one of those choices to be kind. So here we are, Chapter 4. Von Dusen had caught so many Jews in the last 24 hours, his commanding officer, General Steuben, did not mind that his night reconnaissance had been a bust. Von Dusen stood ramrod straight in the general's quarter as he finished his debriefing. A large map of the area was pinned to the wall. Today we searched all around this area here, Von Dusen pointed out his route. We found many abandoned farmhouses and took a total of 36 prisoners into custody. Excellent work, Major, the general said. Von Dusen nodded in appreciation. Once the area is Juden-free and the country is ours, we will be able to relocate many of our people here. The farming is excellent, the soil quite fertile. This may become the fuel that drives the Reich to conquer all of Europe. The land here could grow enough crops to feed thousands, maybe millions. General Steuben grew excited at the thought. The Gestapo knew the Führer's master plan. Once this area was cleared of Jews and the Russian army was defeated, Hitler would relocate German citizens here to farm and expand the empire. Yeah, the general went on, Ukraine is indeed rich in resources. When the Russian army is crushed, we will control the entire continent. Our enemies will fold like tents in the wind before the might of the Reich. Heil Hitler, Von Dusen said as he performed the traditional salute. But part of him doubted the boasting general. Karl's brother Heinz was serving with a German infantry battalion on the Russian front. In truth, the German army was retreating after vicious fighting in the city of Stalingrad. The Battle of Stalingrad had been a disaster. Heinrich had written him that though the Russians were outnumbered, outgunned, and without supplies, they simply refused to give up. In the end, the Russians would not be broken. They called upon every able-bodied citizen, including children, women, and old men, anyone able to hold a rifle, and they fought like demons. They made the soldiers of the Reich pay in blood for every plot of soil they took. The German army was now regrouping in the east while the Russians licked their wounds and prepared to go on the offensive. The Führer was considering what to do. The word from London was that the Americans and British were not ready to attempt to retake Europe. They had overwhelmed the German army in North Africa and were on the move against vastly inferior Italian troops in Italy, but for now, the Reich held the bulk of Europe and had only the Russians to contend with. Millions of angry, bloodthirsty Russians who wanted revenge. But Von Dusen was not yet ready to believe the Reich could be defeated. Their blitzkrieg tactics had earned them control over almost the entire European continent. Setbacks in Africa and Russia were nothing to worry about. Karl was a believer. He always had been. Born in Munich to a wealthy family, he had been a prominent leader in the Hitler Youth movement during his university days. When he graduated, he joined the army. Karl was smart, but more importantly, he was cunning, and he moved quickly through the ranks. Now he was the youngest officer of his rank in the Gestapo. His tall, strong body, cropped blonde hair, and intense blue eyes made him a poster boy for the Führer's master race, an Aryan nation that would rule the world. No, he shook the negative thoughts from his head. The Reich would prevail. Of this he was certain. Adolf Hitler had restored the pride of the German people after the humiliating defeat of World War I, and when they conquered their enemies this time around, a glorious new day would dawn. He was glad to do his part. What are my orders, mein General? He said. The same, Major, he replied. The same. Von Dusen smiled. Tomorrow he would return to the field, and he would hunt. Soon, all of Ukraine would be Juden-free. And that's Chapter 4, and we'll be back tomorrow with Chapter 5. Thanks, everyone.